blues artist. I'm still not where I want, at least the Doors.
Look back and see the first time I met Muddy Waters, the first time I met BB, the first time I met the Stones, and so on. It's 1,000.
Being the blues player, that's the way my life is.
Of the blues, which for me is a never-ending source of inspiration. Blues is one of our only original creations in this country, you see. But on the other hand, American music is a hybrid and evolving thing. There's no tradition, really. You know, you don't have hundreds of years of fiddle playing one way or hundreds of years of singing one way. You have just all these people thrown in for about a 200-year period, and everything gets mixed up. And the blues seems to be there's a lot of theories about what it is, but where is it anyway? You know, it's in Mississippi mostly. It's in Texas too. You have blues suddenly became a popular thing, and everybody was told, you know, have you got any people in this little town who can sing the blues? And somebody says, I do. Well, do that. And so I also do circus music. I also do pop music. Well, we don't want that. Boy, you sing blues for us, we'll give you $50. Well, okay, here I go, you know. So like everybody's singing blues. You got Ma Rainey on the Tin Pan Alley side, or Bessie Smith on the organized side out of New York. And then you've got it down to some crazy rural character like Henry Thomas in Texas, who's just so out back. They were given the task, I mean, they were told, blues is what we want. The white guys come down with the recording apparatus and say, no, don't do that other stuff, do blues. God knows what was lost. During the Depression, this tendency to sing about life and make up songs about life flowered alongside the growth of the record industry. It wouldn't have happened had it not been for the record industry in this country. So technology always plays a part, you know. Because the record business had grown up from the 20s, let's say, to the 30s. You had better quality records, more record players in people's homes. I'm talking about country people, because city people didn't listen to that music, didn't know it existed. But it's a story of American life before the big explosion of consumerism that we're now swallowed up in, which came after World War II, see. So this was your last look and the first look, really, at real life. Black people came to the cities, and they had a tough time in cities, and then things got better, and now you've got, you know, shooting and gangs in South Central LA, and what are you going to do about that? But it's not about the blues anymore. It's not about that country thing. So, but on the other hand, the funny thing I see is a lot of black people at blues shows. You didn't used to see any. God, no. They go anywhere to get away from it, you know. Rather go see Motown shows or respectable, well-dressed, you know, of course. But now, this idea of everybody has roots become rather popular. And maybe because you get a certain distance away from it, generations, I think it's time, really, you know. And you can look back and say, well, that was my grandfather's time, and they suffered. But I'm out of that now, so I can dig this music. There's something for me in this music, you know. I might even find a sense of pride or pleasure in it.
Well, did you hear the good news? There's gonna be some bad blues. Somebody said they're playing all night long. So go and fill your brown bag and put on all your clean rags. Let's go downtown and see what's going on. You take me down the
blues is it became less immediate and more repetitive. So it was like, my baby done left me times 5 billion. No longer is this saying too much about, becomes a ritual music almost. It loses that sense of the very thing is now, you know. I just got away, or I just got shot at, or I just had my girlfriend over, I just got drunk. In fact, I am drunk. Blues records of drunk, when they're drunk, these blues singers were incredible. In the middle of being drunk, they're making this insane record. So you always will hear this sense of the very hot, you know, almost overheated present in the music. Then that begins to go away because people are repeating something they no longer live through. The weird sound of a voice out in the ether somewhere. That to me is blues, like the root note of the universe. You know, what is it? The Buddhists say it's suffering, you know, other people say it's just this thing you can't describe. Then you begin to complicate it and you make up funny verses and you add horns and drums and bass, and pretty soon all you have is My Baby Done Left Me. You don't have anything left of that crazy, weird, you know, strange, amorphic thing that nobody can identify, and then it turns into a way of selling Levi's and jeans, and the rock and roll is dead, so people want to have fun, so they listen to blues and they go get the beer and they go get the jeans and they go get the cigarettes, and then it becomes a huge industry, and then we're sitting here talking for TV long after this music is like, you know, where's it at now? Where can you find any blues? And Vim Benders came along with his movies, Paris, Texas movie, and he said, well, please, he goes, please don't play good music. Blues, simple, blind Willie, I don't know. And he's in his usual way, you know, like telling you nothing. But one element, one thing, I said, oh, I know what you mean. Just this little kind of tone, just a little questioning tone, you know, like what's in the head. This guy speaks no words in the first half of the film, but he's got some, let's imagine his insides are in a tonal setting, you know. He's got some emotional aura, and the sound around him sounds like this, you see, because out there in the desert, they had done a lot of their ambient recording out there, and it's all got this kind of wind sound and air sounds about around E flat. And I've been out there a lot. I know what that goes like. It goes, you know, just twirl the hoses. Simple stuff. But it's very minimal, and it's very harmonic. And then the quieter you get and the less you do, the more this mystery can come through. When I was about 4, I had an accident with this eye, and it was really awful. You know, a little kid, and what is a little kid gonna do? You know, it's terrible. Laid up and hurt, and I was, I think, despondent and spooked. You know, so my folks had a friend. They were into music and not in the business, but interested in classical music, still are. And this man was a classical viola player, blacklisted because of the witch hunt and the, you know, communist problems and all those House Un-American activities. The man, fabulous player, but he couldn't get work. Well, they used to hang out a lot, and I think what he seemed to sense that I needed something to do, so he brought me a guitar. I mean, I was 4, you know, and he brought me a little tenor guitar about yay big. And I remember lying in bed. It was at night, and he was in the house, and I heard him talking in there, and he brought this thing in, and it was dark, you know, in the room where I'm lying in bed. And he set this thing down on my chest, you see, backside down. Oh, what's that? I go, well, it's a guitar. And he goes, strum. And then this, of course, the vibration from the thing, one of the reasons that makes it an interesting instrument, you know, kind of goes down into the body, and it's like, oh. So that was my thing, you know. He had given me this thing to do. I can only look back and think, you know, I was given a kind of a magic carpet, you know.
Little sister, won't you please, please, please? Little sister, don't you please hold me? Little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice? Say it's very nice and then you run. Ooh, little sister, don't you
Records are great, but they're very limited storage capability on a record. As much as they bring, especially 78s, give you a lot because they go around so fast, you know. There's a lot more stuff in those grooves than on a 33. But they don't tell you a lot about the essence of the harmonic space around these people. And that's the trick. That's the key to it. It's very hard to know in a big city. It's so loud, so much noise, so much motion. How are you going to pick any harmonic essence out of anything around here? You're just hiding all the time. Me, I feel like I'm getting out of the way of 10 million people. I want to run and hide. But you go down to some little country town, you can open up, you know. Not everybody can do that, and it's harder now than it used to be. It's all turning into a theme park. That's what blues is to me now. It's a kind of, I hate to say this, theme park.